Hello, my peeps. Tracey here. Independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, the paper pusher, and oh my goodness, it's been a day. Um, just noise and technology and things. I said in my little note when I said it was going to be late today. I We've had neighbors on this side the whole time. When we moved here, there was a couple that lived there. They moved out. Another family with a little girl lived there, but we didn't really see them a lot. They've since moved, and now a family with some kids and a dog and everything have moved in, and they're still in the process of moving in. And the two little girls like to go in the backyard and scream with joy, wee, and have a good old time. And the dog just kind of sits there. It's very funny. And the dad, I think it's the dad, the grandpa, and the brother, are out carrying things and banging around things in the front. And I know this is just the moving process. I would imagine the girls will continue to have fun. They seem to be having a blast in the backyard. And I know the dog will eventually settle down, but right now, whew, there's a lot going on. And so I think because he's so like revved up from all of that, everything is setting him off. So it has been a loud day, loud few days. Today the added bonus was he's eaten something that is upsetting him, so he keeps going out in the grass and trying to dig through 2 feet of snow to get to grass that is buried underneath. And we actually have like turf in the back, fake grass in the backyard. It's here when we bought the house. It's very bizarre when the snow starts to melt in the spring and you see this like bright green grass coming through instead of the usual brown that you're used to. But the flower beds behind, there's like wild grasses that grow in there. So this is what he's trying to get to, so he can eat it, so he can make himself puke. So whatever it is, it's not quite working yet. I don't think he's actually finding very much grass left. Pulled most of it in the fall, but you know. So now he comes in my office. He gets excited about what's going on outside. He starts barking at him, and then the barking makes him gag. So he's like, and I'm thinking, please don't puke in my office, so that I, as much as I can, run to the front to the deck. Send him outside so he doesn't go all day long. Okay, so we're gonna move on now and see how this goes. It's dark out. Not that things have stopped. It's only 8 o'clock at night, but it's dark out. There was hammering after supper. There was but so it's for the first time now. It is sort of quiet outside. The dog's starting to chill. I'm gonna give this a shot. I haven't even got to today's newsletter, and chances are, well, it's yesterday's newsletter that I waited today because Stampin' Up was making a big announcement today, and now it's likely going to be tomorrow. I have a chiropractor appointment. It'll be sometime after that. But just so you know what's coming, Stampin' Up used to have, well, way back when they had the Stamp-A-Majig. Then they had the Stamparatus, which was revolutionary. People lost their minds over it. It was so good. People who had the stamp placement tool that shall not be named um, were like so impressed with like how the technology and how different it was and what went into it. Guys went crazy. It was up for a couple years, and then the company that shall not be named started to complain about copyright infringement. No, it's our idea, and they took it. And I think they were honestly just jealous that ours was better and more popular, right? I say ours. I had nothing to do with it. Stampin' Up's. So years of legal battling and probably millions of dollars in legal fees, Stampin' Up finally said fine, and just stopped and pulled it because they were tired of it all. Pulled the product. So it went really fast. As soon as they announced that was it, they were gone. So I think it's been, I want to say 2 years, could be longer, but I think it's been at least 2 years that there's been no stamp positioning tool. As soon as they pulled the one, they started work on another one. So it is now ready, and it has gone through some like thorough and stuff, and it looks totally different. It's this. I can't wait to see it. So it's just called the Stampin' Positioner. So it's like it looks almost like a book. It's got little pegs along the side, so you could put one big plate, or there's also, I can't see it in this picture, but there's also like a skinnier plate. So if you just wanted to do like a sentiment or something, instead of having that big huge plate, you could just have one little plate and you put your card down. Blue. And apparently these magnets are much better than the other ones. They do look like they have, like they're, like have like a little, like almost like a handle, like a spatula, so you can pick them up easier. So that'll be awesome. So this is coming out new. So demonstrators could order from the pre-order, and we could order this today, starting today. So I've ordered one, and when it gets here, I'll show it to you. But the news you guys need to know is that they're going to have a join offer. So starting from the 3rd of February to the 2nd of March, if you buy the starter kit, join up to be a demo. It can just be a hobby demo. It can just be for the discount. We'll talk all about that in February when the deals actually started. I've talked about it a lot before, so you probably know anyways. Anybody who buys the thing there, so the deal is still the same, $165 worth of stuff for $135. They're no longer putting the paper pumpkin kit in, but you get a bunch of business supplies, and it's still a really good deal. You don't pay shipping, you don't pay tax. That alone saves you like $35 or something. You get over $200 or right around the $200 mark when you add in the like what you get to pick plus shipping and tax. You get all for $135. And if you sign up in February, you get one of these for free. So that's awesome, just so you know. There was new online exclusives that we could also order today. So these go live to customers. I'm going to say whatever date in March was the end of this. Let's see, this says March 2nd. I'm going to go with March 3rd. It probably says on here somewhere, but I don't know. Anyways, this is well, Stampin' Up, they're horrible at, when they do PDFs and stuff, they never used to do like ones for online exclusives. So we should just be grateful that they did one. They waste so much paper though. So this, I got this at midnight. We don't get to see these ahead of time. And I just printed the whole thing out. But when I'm looking at it now, I like to have something to like reference. It's going to be much smaller when I make it, and I will reduce it for customers too, so they don't have to make this big huge thing. But oh my goodness, I spent a lot of money at midnight. There are some amazing sets in here, so this is also coming. So the beauty of it is, if you sign up on like the 3rd of February or whatever date they said, when the deal starts, you can add these pre-order things to your starter kit, or you can order whatever you want. You get your order, turn right back around and make another order as a demo, and you can still pre-order. So you can get it before anybody else. So many good things in here. So those are all coming. My order is in. It hasn't shipped. Shipping isn't regular, so like they said, they're on time with everything. So I expect it should ship tomorrow. Sometimes it'll ship the same day, which is super impressive. It didn't this morning. What is today? Wednesday, Thursday. So I would think, will I have it by Wednesday? Probably not. But I probably have it next week, so I can show you the week after some of the cool new things you can order when it comes up. So today we're going to make a card. And there's been so much going on. I've been so busy. I had a town meeting last night. I've got sort of 2 projects that are both happening at the same time. Plus I'm doing the 25 days, which is, I've been having so much fun, and I'm loving to get all the organization done and go through, and I'm loving making the videos, but the videos are just, to render the video and to upload it, and to, technology is just being a brat. So it's all been very time consuming. So I didn't really have a plan today. My paper pumpkin kit for January did come. I can show you real quick. It does look cool. I'm not a fan of the box. This is so not my style. But the cards inside look cool. And actually the stamp set looks great. But, so the cards, and like especially this one, I love this little montage-y thing. So, but I wasn't feeling, I'm like, no, I don't want to put a kit together today. But I will eventually. I just don't feel like doing it today. So I thought, okay, what am I going to do? Now, I was supposed to do a video last night for my ACES class, which I've talked about before, my Advent Calendar extras. And there's a PDF, and at some point I'm going to get the whole thing and show you all the stuff and let you know what's in the PDF. But it was supposed to be last night, but because it had been like non-stop noise all day, I said, you know what, guys, I'm just going to make a video as soon as it quiets down, and this way I can go to a town meeting that was also going on. Most of them weren't coming to the live anyways, so I'll do that. So I get home from the live, and they're playing, and I don't know what they were deconstructing last night. There was a lot of banging and moving, and the dog was losing it till like 10:30 at night or something. And by then I was just too tired to start a video. So I ended up doing it this morning. Got it all done, got all the things, and in the video I show like, here's the project, and then here's some alternatives. So all the stuff is all around me still. And one of the things I said was, oh, I'm going to make this. And as I'm talking about it, this catches my eye out of the corner of my eye. Here's the, how do you get to make a thing? How does Tracey's brain work? It's scary. So I'm doing all this other stuff. This I catch out of the corner of my eye. And I realize that this will probably work on a project. Actually, no, I'm going to go back a step. That's a bit of a sneak peek for you, but I'm going to go back a step and actually show you the progression of the projects. Okay, so this is the project we were making. Okay, it's a little treat box with this little pattern on it. And what I had said was that Stampin' Up. They this is for the advent calendar, so they were doing reveal videos, and in their reveal video, instead of making it this blue color, it was about this size, but they had made it in basic beige, and they used these. This was their pattern on it, right? But they made this in this size. So I made this one first, and a couple things. When I did it, I realized after I put it together, because I wanted to make it big enough you could put cards, and you can fit 6 cards with envelopes in this little bag, right? So you make like a little card purse. So I was trying to make it a bigger one so I could have like 2 options. So I made it here. So I noticed that with this one there was a lot of blank space. So I was showing how you could just use like your trimmer, or you can use your like your scoring pen and your scoreboard. It's not called a scoring pen. All of a sudden I forgot what that thing's called. Your scorer, stylus. There we go. And you can, like, even just by scoring some lines into it, it sort of fills in. You can't really see it on the camera, but it kind of just sort of fills in some and gives you some stuff, right? So here's like 2 projects based on what they did. And so this one is the one that, oh no, it's gonna, yes. So I also showed, sorry, I'm trying to do it in the order I was doing it, because the way my brain works is hard enough to begin with, but when I'm in the moment and I'm just going, sometimes I don't know where I went. But so this was another one I did. It like showed you live how to do it, and said you could, instead of doing like punching holes, you could put a little clip, right? Hey, there's one alternative. And I said, so let me show you how. So I have this here. I'm like, so let me show you how to make one of these. So I took all the extra pieces out, and I'm getting ready to do this. And as I'm doing this, this is when I noticed this card, and I thought, you know, this would almost work. So these are, and I'll cover the dies at the end, but these are the dies, right? So I just had them as a sample. So I pulled this off and I went like this, and I'm like, oh yeah. Okay, I said when I decorate this one, I'm going to put these tulips on it, because instead of just 3 chunks of DSP, 3 tulips. Come on, this is great, right? Okay, so I set this off to the side. So then I finished showing my things. So here's one of the alternate cards I did, right? So, or alternate projects. So instead of making a box, so that you can see similarities, right? So instead of making a box, I have this card. And I just made some, I just cut out a cardstock instead of DSP. And I got a little embossed background. Oh, look at this, cool card. And I said I did another one, and I made littler, because there's these really cute little, tiny little dies that come in the thing. So I said I made those, and instead of, I just put some flowers on it. So these are all part of the stamp set, which I'll show you in a minute. And then I made this card, which I absolutely love. I love the colors. I love the layout. So, and it was just sort of a variety of them, and I like the little kind of, you know, Mod Podge thing of it. But there's a couple of these spaces. So instead of putting a embossed layer, I thought, no, let's just show you how you can just put some score lines. There's 3 there, and there's 2 down there, which I can't make show up. It's, oh, there we go. Right? And they just kind of fill it in. When you're looking at the card, they're way more obvious. And they just kind of fill it in to give you like a little something. Even though, even without it, it would have been fine. Like when you look on here, you can't see them. It's fine, right? So I'm like, oh, nice. I like it. Okay, so here we go. Put everything away. Thank you. Show the next projects, because we're doing 3 per week. So I show all the stuff. I put it all away. It's all good. Thank you very much. Put it all. So then I'm like, okay, I have to wait. And I don't know why my computer does this, but I have to wait for the video to stop. Like I'm recording it and I hit stop video when I'm done. And my hour-long video, because there's 3 projects and a whole bunch of stuff, took, oh, I did show how to make this whole bag. That was part of it. It took 35 minutes, I think, to stop recording. So I think that OBS is doing some of the rendering ahead of time, and that's why it takes so long to shut down. But oh, good Lord, it took forever. So while it's doing, because once I do that, it saves, and then I have to take it, put it back into OBS, and do a remux. I don't know why it's called that or what that word is. My IT department explained it, which takes it from MP3 to an MP4 so I can upload it to YouTube. And then I have to upload it, and the uploading takes a few minutes. So like all this has to happen. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to put my spares together, like the alternates and the other ones that I was talking about in the video. I'm going to finish putting those together so I can take all the pictures. So when the video is finally done, I can upload them. So I was like, So I played around a little bit. I like to show options, right? So one of the options for filling in was this. The other one is you could also do some stamping or emboss it, or like you could put an emboss layer, but this is a pretty big emboss layer. So, you could do some stamping. So I had already decided I'm going to try it with the tulips. But then I thought, no, I'd also try it with some background stamping. So then I did this. I love this bag. I love this, actually it's not even the bag. I love this design so much. I spent most of the afternoon going, oh my God, I love that. Oh my God, that turned out so well. Oh my God. Look at that. Oh, right? On this bag. Now, it doesn't matter if you like it or not. It's quite all right. But it was one of those things, it was just like, I can't get over how much I like how it turned out. I like the contrast. I like the simplicity. There's no sentiment on here because it didn't work anyways. But because the whole background says big things, big things. So I've made this bag, right? And I'm obsessed. Let's face it. So I'm trying to pick other projects and do other things, but I just keep seeing this bag and I'm like, oh, I can't stop. So this is the stamp set that came with the advent calendar. I meant to actually check the advent calendar to see if it's still available. I did check the other thing, but so it has this big thanks in it, right? It doesn't have a tulip or anything, so I thought, okay, I like this so much, I think I should make a card. But before I decided to make the card, I had to decide if I could. I like to stamp the inside in the envelope. So if I'm just using dies that don't have a stamp set yet, then how am I going to do that? So this is the dies. I'm going to show you how to make the card, but I'll digress for a minute. Okay, so these are the paper pumpkin dies, right? And every 3 months they come out with another set. And they have bits and pieces in them that go with the upcoming kits. So this label goes with the set I just showed you with the postal theme, right? This is for January. The February kit, because as demonstrators we get to see this ahead of time, is a coordinating kit with the Easter set that is in the mini catalog that just came out at the beginning of January. So that's where these dies come from, right? This is the tulip, and I'll show you in a minute why there's two, but the tulip and its stem, right? So this is the dies I'm going to use. Now, March's card, I cannot remember anything at all about the theme, but it has something to do with the word beautiful, because this is the die for beautiful. So, I don't know, like, we don't see this stuff ahead of time, but I do know that this coordinates with the Easter bundle, right? So that's what I do with it. So this is where I made the card, right? There's the January thing, there's the February thing, and there's the March thing. So I just put them all into like a piece. This one I had just done this, like this label, and then I realized, that looks like the perfect size to go on a note card, which it is. It's like perfectly framed on a note card. So that's why I have this piece. So I know it coordinates with Easter basket. Oh, and look, a tulip. And it's just an outline one too, so I can just it's a cute little tulip to stamp on the inside. So I'm like, this is perfect. Now it is totally possible that when I get February's paper pumpkin, there will be another really cute tulip stamp that is more this shape with these leaves or something. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I now know I have a stamp that I can do on the insides. So, completely obsessed, I made the card. Oh, see in there? See? Envelope with a tulip on it. So I made the card. Love it. I am seriously in awe of this design. I just like, oh my goodness, I love it. So using most of the same elements, this one felt like it needed some bling though. And then it's just got, like I said, the little thing on the inside. So this is the card, right? So it's on my desk now and I'm just like, oh, yes. So in the end, I'm trying to come up with a different card to make. And I'm obsessed with this. So I thought, you know what? We're making one of these cards. And not just because I'm obsessed, although I am, but just so you can see how you come up with stuff, right? Like it started out, this became this. And there's a whole, actually, this is how my brain works. Here, we'll do this. So here's where I started. And here's where I ended. Okay, that's how my brain works. So this is the best part of the job though, is the fun you can have just letting your brain go. Let me get this out before I get on here. So the one thing I did notice though, and this has come with years of practice, and I don't always get it right, but trying to do random stamping. Random's not easy. Where'd my bag go? So I started doing this one and I was trying to do random, and I was trying to make sure that the word big, I started in the middle, which you'll see in a minute, but I started, and here it's not as bad because I knew I was covering some of it up, but I was trying to do random, and I ended up with the word big going down at diagonals in rows, and so it looks like they're kind of striped, and I was like, ah. So I fixed it for the top, knowing that I was covering up the center, so they sort of saved me by putting these labels on. So I'm going to show you on this one. When I did this one, I did a much better job, just because I made sure that instead of like just offsetting the word big, because that's what made these stripes, that I sometimes it overlaps, sometimes it's away, right? Just to make it different. Ooh, so there's a bit of a trick to this, so I thought I'm going to show you. But I love the fact that there's two different fonts in this stamp set. So here's the thing. Big thanks. In this same stamp set, birthday wishes. So now I can't just make a card. Now I have to try something different. So we're going to try and see how it goes. And I'm just going to show you basically how I did the background, but also you can do it. So I have my envelope and my insert that I'm going to stamp in a minute. I have a standard card base, and I have my favorite size of, I know how much I like this, so you know I cut extra. This is my favorite size of insert, which is 3 3/4 by 5. So I know what I'm doing, and I know what my final product. When you're copying, it's even easier. But even going in, I knew that I like to have this little bit thicker border, and I like this in the middle. Now I could have just done the whole background like the bag. But I like layers. I like to pop things up. Do we want to do the whole one this time? So if I do, then I have to just pop the other thing over top of it. I can't. No, I'm going to stick with the pattern. No, you know what? I'm going to change it up. What the heck? Okay, so I just have to change my paper a little bit. There we go. So same thing is going to apply. Now what I was going to say is, so I like that smaller layer size. If you're not used to doing this, or you're not 100% sure what your final layer size is going to be, like you want to make sure you get the good part of the layers. You can always cut a bigger piece, stamp, 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 and then especially if you make any mistakes along the edges or whatever, then you can just trim it to size afterwards. So whichever way works. This is not going to work. I have to be wider this way. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I did try, and funnily enough, basic beige is a weird ink color, and it stamps kind of weird at first, but it does lighten up. So I just wanted this to be like a subtle background. So the first thing I tried, and it sometimes works, so depending on the color you're using, you can try this. You can try where you stamp off once, and then you stamp again. Now, I'll do it on this side so you can see better. So that's how stamping off works, or second generation stamping. So full strength, and then stamp again to get the second version. So you can see the problem with stamping off with a color as light as basic beige. Just to give you an idea of, in case you haven't seen it before, of how it does work, I'll do a darker color. So first generation, second generation, and in some cases you can get a little bit farther. So this is on a darker color, so this is full strength, and then I stamped and stamped and stamped and stamped. It starts to get a little faded there, but you can see how it works for some, right? So there's one of the things you want to try. In this case, no. I cannot do second generation stamping because you'll never see it. So we're going full strength. Now, I mentioned it on other things. I know I've mentioned it before, but even if you're stamping like little, like small patterns or whatever, I tried all sorts of different things, and then I don't know, years ago, somebody said, you want random, start in the middle. And I have found that is the thing. Now this is a totally different size. It's longer. I think it's, oh, maybe it's not longer. No, it's definitely skinnier, but I'm going to try it anyways and just wing it because that's how I roll. So I know that I'm going to put something here. So somewhere in the middle, I know that I kind of want to have like the full like birthday wishes at least once somewhere close. Just, it'll be all over the place. It always works out, but so I know I kind of want. So I'm going to stand a little bit lower than where I want the good one to read. And I'm going to stamp off a little bit so I know, like off center, so I know I can get it. So I'm just going to start here in the middle-ish middle. And I'm going to stamp birthday wishes. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to stamp in front of it so that there's my row. So now when I want to go the next time, I want to make sure, so this is kind of where I want, so I'm going to have to stick my head in the middle a bit. I kind of want to be able to have the birthday wishes up there, right? So now I'm going that way. Now this is the part where if I completely like offset again, I'm gonna end up with like then I'll end up with a zigzag, right? So it's weird. I'm gonna go in the middle, I guess. But you don't want to go like don't just go this row I'm gonna do this, this row I'm gonna do this, this row I'm gonna do this, because it's never gonna work out in the end. It's gonna start to be very weird. So, and I'm trying to do the spacing, but as you can see, I'm also not taking a whole lot of time, and I never did on the other ones when I made them either. So we're going like this. This is why you stamp smaller areas, because they go faster. One of the things, so when I stamp the box, you'll notice that the front of the box is stamped, but none of the sides or bottoms or anything are stamped. So when you do, there's like the sides that fold in, right? So when you're doing that, you're basically, you need to mask off that area so you don't end up getting ink where you don't want to. And because I just, and I mean, I could have tried to guess and do this, but because I'm just randomly picking an area to start, because honestly, I would have probably had the same result if I had taken 10 minutes and measured it. It just doesn't always work out because I'm not measuring anything else. I'm just like going. But when you get to the part where you don't want to stamp, this is the Stampin' Up! Masking paper, and I just cut it into like a 1 1/4 inch strip, and I did that because I did it on the side of the box, and I wanted to make sure the whole side of the box was covered. You can use sticky notes, you can use the tape that I use on my die cut machine, the post-it note tape. It doesn't matter. And I don't think it matters that I'm doing this where half of the word is being cut off, because I think it looks better. And I butted this right up against the score line. And this stuff you can use a few times, so it's just curled up on my desk now. So I butted up right against the score line so that I could get right to the top. Because then when it folds, it's good. Otherwise, I'd have this like space at the top. And I can guarantee you at the bottom, not going to be the same space, because it never is, because I'm just randomly stamping. So I also noticed that these are a little bit closer, then they get a little farther, then they get a little closer. So honestly, I think as long as, it's because I'm not looking over it like I should be. I think honestly, as long as I continue to be all over the place, then it'll look like it's supposed to. Oop, that one's a little out of whack for the whole row. Some of these things will correct themselves because you're going to put something over top of them. You might be able to fix some of the more obvious things with... I just keep getting really far apart here. I got to pay more attention. With embellishments, you can usually, a well-placed embellishment will usually hide the worst of the things you're trying to get away with. Ooh, try not to drop your ink on the thing. So I'm liking how this is turning out. I can tell you, it is a whole lot more stamping with a skinnier sentiment than it was with that other very big one. That other one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 full rows and then the 2 partial ones on the top, which are not the same size, as I said. And this one, boop, and I need a little S over here, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 full and 2 partial. So I think I said 7 over there, so basically double. But in the end, does it look cute? Yes, it does. So let's move the rest to the side so I don't get them in the way. So in the end, I've ended up with my little background, which I quite like. And it means I don't have to put a sentiment on, because I think this is very obviously a birthday card. So yeah, there's a couple big spaces. Now, because I have like the biggest, like, right here, and then this one I actually dropped down. I didn't mean to, but I did. This is the worst part of the card. All the rest of it is actually not too bad. So, the solution to that, I'm going to put this on this side. So this is what I did. On this card, I had it offset the other way, but on this one, I can do this. And I will tell you that this is okay. This is going to work. I like it way better with the layer. Even with the smaller print, I think I would have liked it way better with the layer. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to, because I want to be able to see the difference for you guys to be able to see the difference. And it's just personal preference. There's nothing wrong with this card. But if you go to this far and you go, you know what? No, just cut this card into a layer, cut the back into a layer, and use it for something else. You can do that. So this one I'm going to pop up though because it's me and because I like to pop. I like dimensionals. You know they're Frank Red's hot, Frank's Red Hot. That's how I feel about dimensionals. I put those things on everything. So I also just think cards look better with dimension. So because this one had this layer popped up and this was flat, but this is obviously flat, I'm just going to put this on here. Now some people would put this thing on first, but you know, that's not how I roll. So I'm going to put this off to the side a bit. I don't know why I was lining that one up. It has nothing to do with that one. There we go. This is, I don't actually remember the name of this punch. This is a current punch. Anyways, I love the shape of this punch. And this punch you can do lots of fun things with. So this is how the dies work. These dies, by the way, are awesome. There's only 2 sets of them available right now. There's this one that just came out, and there's the one from December of last year, which is a tag, a fern, and the word Merry, I think. Like Merry Christmas, Mary, I think is how it went. They're super popular. So they were $16.50. They just went up with the January one was the first one that was $18. And you need to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber to buy them. So every month when they come out, I will, as soon as I get or every 3 months, they release on the 11th of every 3rd month. So I have it written into my calendar. So usually a couple days before I get like a sneak peek or something, and I will put out and say, this is what the new dies look like. Anybody wants me to order some? Because you don't want to pay full shipping on something that's $18. And because these are small, I can always pop them in an envelope and mail them to you. So I just get a whole bunch of them at once. They're below the threshold for what you earn Stampin' rewards on. So you're not really missing out on that part. So this is the one that's still available. Yeah, that's the word Merry. So there's like things that go with 3 kits. They're not always 3 pieces. As you can tell, this one was 4. So this one was the one from September. So this would be October, November, December. So July, August, September. They go by quarter. This one was a big thing. This one had, the circle went with 1 month. Hello went with, and then there's an acorn in here that can also be a strawberry. Like there's different leaves and different inserts. There's a whole bunch of pieces in this one. This one was super popular. I'm not surprised it sold out. This one has a flower, leaves, label, and the word hugs. This one coordinated with a couple other things. So this coordinated with the stamp set, something about growing. It was great. This one is the heart that cuts out in 2 pieces, and then there's a little die that makes this little bee thing. This one had lots of foliage, the word joy, and a different tag. This one had die cut one of the flowers, hooray, and a big leaf. This one is love, a tulip, and a label and some leaves. Not a tulip. Daffodil. Sorry, daffodil. And then the first one that came out is a label, a butterfly, and the word thanks. So these are great little things. Don't overlook these when they come out. I think they're awesome. Okay, so this thing does cut 2 pieces. So I could put this just like a tulip, right? It could just be a flat little 1 layer. Ooh, right? It's cute. Again, I like my dimension. So I take this other little piece, I split a little dimensional on the back of it. So now I've got this popped up. Right, so now my dimensional goes, or my tulip goes like this with the dimensional, making it have a little bit of jump to it. If you didn't want that, or you need to keep your card thin, I never worry about that. If you've got to pay extra postage, pay extra postage. A lot of the stuff I hand to people, so it's okay. So you could just put it like this. Who am I thinking you're going to be able to see that? I'll put it on here. You could just put it like this, just glue them together. Just a minute, I keep knocking everything. Right? So the front part just gives it, like, even just flat, it gives it the dimension of, you know, there's the back layer of the petals and the front layer of the petals. So it's an awesome little die. Now, when I cut this out, this is how you know how I did it. Old olive, white. White means I put adhesive backing on it. So our adhesive sheets that I showed the other day, they're over with my embossing folders in the die cut section, are just the cat's meow. And usually I have no problem with them tonight. There we go. So peel off the little back layer, and they basically, you stick them on the back of the cardstock before you cut, and then it turns this into a sticker. So then I can just stick it straight down. This one's not too bad. The leaves are a pretty good size on this one. But on things that are smaller, you definitely, you don't want, if you don't want glue everywhere, which is how I roll, you want to put that on ahead of time, because then you can just pop it down. And this one I'm just going to put a couple glue dots, just so it lifts up a little bit. I like my dimension. There we go. Ta-da! So I think it works better, or works good on either side. Like you can't tell one side's not better than the other. I will admit, I heard twine. So this is old twine that was white and old olive from, I'm going to say like 4 or 5 years ago. It was a while. It's at least that long ago. But it just, because it had the old olive in it, it worked for this. The advent calendar came with 2 different rolls of twine. One is white and misty moonlight, and one is white and flirty flamingo. But I wanted green. So I used just some of the retired stuff. So I'm going to take my little bow, tying it small, and then I like when my bow has like this little like jaunty angle to it. And I do need to trim. I got to get out my twine only scissors. I just need to trim the end off, because now that it's been, cut and tied and everything, manhandled slightly, it's a little fuzzy on the end. I like my to be as clean as possible. So there we go. And then I'm just going to, you could use a glue dot, but I am actually getting way better at using white glue, which is generally easier, and the more you use it, the less messy you make, because that's the big drawback, is the mess. So I'm just going to pop that down and hold it there for a second. So in the meantime, I will tell you that I think these came out with the annual catalog, but this is, and funny enough, they're called Strawberry Slush and Pretty in Pink. What does it say? Just Gems. So if you've seen before, I know I've talked about it before. I always cut the top off the package, because I get tired of the little flap with the adhesive on it sticking to what I'm pulling out of it, especially when it's the DSP. So I just trim the top off. I started putting arrows on them because I was tired of picking them up upside down and dumping the embellishments on the floor. And then I put the colors. Once I sold these at a retirement sale, and it was one of the in-color ones, and I said, oh, it's the in-colors. And she said, you know what color's there? And I said, it's this, and for the life of me, could not remember the 5th color. None of the stampers around me could remember, and it drove me nuts. So after that, I started just writing the colors, because these are in the catalog, or if you look online, it tells you what colors are in it, but they don't tell you that on the packaging. I don't know why. Wouldn't that be easier if it did? So anyways, I write the things on here. But we're going to go and take, the Strawberry Slush is very close in color to, it's one of the in colors, but it's very close in color to the Flirty Flamingo. So now that I did that, so here's the other thing I do with, I don't know, sometimes people get frustrated trying to place embellishments. And yeah, these are adhesive, so they're going to stick down. I think I'm going to go this. But here's the thing. So I'm taking this off on my little take your pick tool, and I'm taking my little adhesives, and I'm setting them, see, I kind of like them when they go up a bit. I'm setting them where I think they should go. I like my embellishments in 3s. I like to put a big and a small in one spot, and a small in the other spot. Oh, for some reason there is like a little hair of elastic that is, oh, there we go. But you'll notice that I'm just kind of like pushing them off of here onto, oops, that one I just dropped, onto the card. I'm not actually pushing them down. So I can do this. Well, that one's upside down, but let's just do that. And decide, do I like that, or would I rather put this down here? Nope, back here. So now that I've decided where I like them, now I'm going to actually push them down. I'm going to push those down, and now they stay. But you can do them, because if I change my mind, and I probably could still pick these up, but I don't want to risk pulling up my printing. But if I really wanted to, I could be like, no, and move them around a little bit before I give them that final push. But it just gives you a minute to make up your mind. because sometimes it's like I have an idea where I want to go, but you know. So then I need to stamp here. Now, basic beige is a light enough color that it really wouldn't matter if sometimes I have to double check and make sure that this is going in the same orientation. I've done it before where it was a landscape card and I've typed it sideways. So, or the more often than not, it's the other way around because I do almost everything portrait. So, chances are, I don't know why, but I do. Chances are the portrait is how I instinctively stamp the insert. So yeah, basic beige is light enough. You could write on it with any kind of a pen, but I just kind of got in the habit, and I think it just like I like the way it looks. I could also have stamped in there in the pink, and it would have been fine in the flirty flamingo. But I like the way it looks. So if it's not a white card base, I put a white layer in the inside. This is just the standard 4 by 5 1/4. It gives it just a little line around the edge. If you're doing with dark cards, you could also write, I mean, now you can get pens of every shape and size, right? So you could get a white, silver, gold, whatever pen to write on dark cards, but I like to just put a white layer in anything that's not. Oh, see, look how cute that is, right? Absolutely love, I'm in love with the tulips and this layout. I'll just move that out of the way for now because it's in the way. And I do like, I don't know, do you have a preference? This or that? Layer, no layer. Right? And again, this could have gone on the other side, but it covered up my mistake. So, boom, now you don't even notice that big gap that I put in there. Ta-da! So, there's a fun walk down Tracey's mind, ending up with cute cards in the end. So, I'm going to end a little early because it has just been a long day. If you make a card, especially if you make it out of different colors, or try this stamped background instead of a sentiment, with like a totally different set altogether. I would love it if you'd post your cards because I love to see these things. So there we go. I'll take some pictures of these and the two cards side by side so you can compare them, and I will pop them in when I post the replay. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for your patience and waiting for this. And yeah, once it finishes, well, again, by the time you see this, it will already finish, but I will get it all done as quickly as possible to get all the rendering and everything done. So hopefully it should be up for tonight. And I'll be back next Wednesday with who knows what. Depend where my mind takes me. All right. Thanks, peeps. Have a good one. Bye.